Okay, welcome everyone to Know Your Money, Grow Your Business. It is January 2023, and I'm so excited to see so many of you here live today. I was just saying before we went live that, or before I hit record, that I love to host this class in workshop format because I like to keep it very interactive. So if you have questions as we're going along, you can put them in the chat and I'll get to them and answer them for you. There is a worksheet. So I'm going to copy and paste the link for that worksheet again in the comments here. And you can open that up and you can make a copy. And so when you make a copy, then you can type on it. Sorry, I'm just making sure everybody is muted. So that way we have a clean recording. Okay, great. So, excuse me. So you can make a copy of that worksheet and you can fill it in as you're going along if you want. It's for taking notes and there's a little homework assignment on the end. Nothing scary, just a little reflection exercise. I won't be collecting it. There won't be a quiz. So it's just really for your own reflection. So I'm happy to see so many of you here. So what I'd like to do is just tell you a little bit of housekeeping. If you are able to keep your camera on, that's amazing because then I can see you and it's just so much more fun to interact. If not, I totally understand if you're having lunch, if you're doing something where you can't be on camera, totally fine as well. You're welcome here. So I mentioned about the worksheet. So everybody's got the worksheet, and if you have any questions about that, you can let me know too. So I want to make sure that you're in the right place. So I've got a great workshop lined up for you today, and I'm super excited to dive in. I know that your time is valuable, and I know that we all have so many things to do. So I'm going to be very mindful of your time, but I would like to stress, if you can, please be present here today. You'll get so much more out of this workshop if you are here present, watching and interacting in real time. So I would like to invite you to do that. Shut down Facebook, shut down whatever it is you have open, if you're working on something else, and just focus here. And I promise to keep it concise and to the points and help you to get the most out of your time today. So this training is for you if you're ready to deep dive into the money management of your business and you're open to shifting the way that you've been doing things if necessary. Also, if you desire clarity and confidence around your financial management, if you've ever wondered if you'd have enough money to pay your bills at the end of the month without pulling from your personal accounts, if you ever wondered about paying yourself, how to do that, how to know if you have enough money for that, this workshop is for you. Also, you might feel confused or overwhelmed when it comes to managing the money of your business in general, not even know where to start. This workshop is for you. And if you're curious about practical ways to make the finances of your business more understandable, clear, easy, without spending hours a week on it, this workshop is for you. So this might not be the right place for you if you're not open to trying new things or experimenting or hearing about, different approaches to doing things. Or if you have a financial system that works for you and you love it and it's easy to use and it gives you all the information you need, your time might be better spent elsewhere. So hang on one second. Okay. All right. So I hope that you're all in the right place today. And I'm going to take a minute to just introduce myself. So some of you may know me already. I'm Sarah Fins. I'm a finance coach. I'm also a health coach, a retired CPA, and accountant. But also I want to tell you a little bit about my background, a little more about kind of my life. So I grew up in a family where nobody talked about money. So I don't know if any of you can relate to this. I grew up, my parents were divorced. They divorced at a young age. We had, 2 separate houses. Nobody really talked about how to spend money, how to save money, what you needed to do with money. It was just kind of ignored, right? So I grew up approaching money in that same way because that's what I had been taught. And I don't know if any of you can relate to this. way of, interacting with money. But when I graduated from college, I graduated with a degree in accounting, right? So I knew all about debits and credits, but out in the world I go, and I was still ignoring my personal finances. So just kind of like hoping that I would have enough money at the end of the day to do the things I wanted to do. And that didn't work out so well, of course, as you would imagine. At one point I had to sit down and really get serious about it. And I did, and it completely changed my life. And I don't say that lightly. Getting a handle on my finances and understanding the flow of, what was going in, what was going out, what I could afford, what I might have to defer to another time, it really changed the game for me. And so when I got really clear on that, I was able to, just do so many things that I wanted to do. And the stress that left me and the clarity that I had, it just was a game changer. And so when I started my health coaching business, so that's the other part of my story. Some of you might know this already. Those of you who don't, when my daughter was born, she's almost 14 now, I left my corporate accounting job, went back to school to study nutrition, and opened my health coaching practice. So I became a health coach, and I ran that business for 10 years. I ran a seasonal whole food detox for 3 of those years. Every season, I had private clients. I ran a Facebook group with about 1,500 people. So I grew that practice. And what I found during that time was that so many of my colleagues were very unsure about the money side of their business. They didn't know what to do. They weren't sure how to look at it. I was helping many of them, set things up on the back end, and just trying to make things easier for them. So what came easily to me, because of my background and my experience in my own life, was a struggle for many of my friends and colleagues. And so I decided to take a little bit of a step back from my health coaching. And I was at a conference one day, and I had this like aha that I could help my colleagues and others in, the wellness and the coaching industry to learn how to manage their finances easily and not have to spend hours and stress about it. And so that's what I did. I created my course, I pivoted my business, and I've been doing that for the last almost 3 years. So Easy Business Bookkeeping was born. So that's kind of how I got to where I am doing this right now for you. And so I thank you all for being here. So today we're going to dive deep into the numbers or the number management of your business. We're not going to dive into your numbers, obviously, today, but we're going to talk about money management. I saw some new people I just let in, so I'm going to add the worksheet again in the chat. I meant to include it in the reminder email, and I did not. So I just want to make sure everybody has access to that. So if anyone can relate, if anyone has any thoughts about it, I would love to know, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not at all and 10 being 100%, how comfortable do you feel currently managing the finances of your business? So on a scale of 1 to 10, you can elaborate, you don't need to, but I'd love to know. And like I said, today we're going to be diving into the money management of your business and how to do that with ease. I'll also be sharing with you at the end a little bit about my financial management course, and invite you all to join it. So today's going to be a little bit of an experience, like how it is to work with me. So I'm going to give you a little taste of that today, and tell you a little bit more about my program at the end. Okay, so let's see. We've got, Jody says 8, Abby says 4, Eliza says 7, Adrian says 5. Okay, so we've got a mix, and that's perfectly normal. I want to say something, before I begin to dive into the detail, is that no one is born knowing about numbers, right? You don't wake up one day and suddenly know accounting. And I went to school for accounting, and it still took me a lot of life experience to figure out how to apply that to my personal finances. So, business finances and personal finances are a little different, but lots of same underlying principles, but I still had to figure out how to do that. So if you feel unsure about it, if you don't know, if you don't consider yourself a numbers person, if you have, some stuff you grew up with around money, I want you to put that aside because I truly feel that anyone can learn the basics of business bookkeeping. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. So thank you for sharing how you're feeling, everyone, about those numbers. Lauren says 0 right now, unfortunately, giving all that to your husband to deal with because he's an accountant. Okay, certified financial planner. Yes, and you bring up a really good point, Lauren, because he obviously can do that for you because he has that skill set. But when it's your own business, knowing the information around your numbers is infinitely empowering because you have the ability to see what's working, what's not, help the business to grow, know where to focus your time. And without looking at those numbers yourself, they might be all organized and ready for taxes, but it won't help you in the management of your business, right? Do you agree? Yeah, Lauren, Lauren's nodding her head over there. Well, thank you for sharing that. I actually had a client whose father was a CPA, and so she was doing the same type of thing with him. She would give her numbers to him at the end of the year, and she came and joined my course a couple of years ago, and now she pulls everything together and gives it to him, and he's like, "Oh, I love this," So, and she felt very empowered with that as well. So yeah. So Abby gives a little high five there. Okay, cool. So again, you're here for Know Your Money, Grow Your Business. So this training came to be because I realized that many of my health coaching colleagues and other coaches and wellness practitioners and consultants on the service-based helping businesses, many people didn't feel confident with their finances and how to manage them. And so I created this workshop to teach you a little bit about how to get started. So just take a minute to think about your intention, why you're here. I like to take a minute just to set an intention if you want to jot it down, if you want to type it in the worksheet. For why you're here. You don't have to share it with me. Of course you can, but it will help us bring focus to this next segment. Okay, so I'm going to dive right in then now. I have my outline. So if you see me looking, that's what I'm looking at. I want to make sure I don't forget anything here. I like when I do it interactive like this, I don't like to throw a PowerPoint up because then I can't really see you guys. So I'm doing it this way today. Okay, so you'll see on the worksheet, we're going to start off with the 3 mistakes or assumptions, that we might be making. So if you think about in your business, if you're going along, you're making money, you're paying your bills, you might feel like everything is under control. But if you don't look at the numbers on a regular basis, there may come a time where you're not sure if you have enough to spend. You might not be paying yourself, but you want to be doing that, but you don't know if you have enough money to do it. And so that's why paying attention on a regular basis is super, super important. And as I mentioned, my life completely changed once I started paying attention. So it applies to business. Hang on, someone else is coming in. It applies to business as well as personal. So we're going to talk about the business side of that today. Okay, great. Everyone who just joined us, welcome. I'm glad you're here. We're about to dive into the nitty-gritty of everything. Okay, just want to make sure everyone's muted. So the first assumption or mistake that you might be making when it comes to your business finances is thinking that you need to be a numbers person. And so I touched on this a little bit just before, but this sometimes can look like, negative self-talk spinning around when you think about it's time to look at your finances and you're like, why am I even going to bother? I can't do that. I don't understand it anyway. And you just kind of ignore it. Or you feel overwhelmed because you're not sure what you're looking at. Or you think, I've never been good at math. I've never been good at that. I don't even think I'm going to bother. So sometimes this can present as if you don't feel confident that you can do it, you just don't do it at all. So I don't know if any of you can relate to that. And there was one, I had a conversation, some of you may have been at yesterday watching in the Confident Health Coach community, but we were talking about just taking one small step. And so I recommend starting with the most basic step that you can. And that might be just opening, your bank accounts and looking at that once a week. So each of you may be in a different place. Some of you may be doing that already. Some of you are not, and that's okay. We've got people keep coming in. So just want to make sure everybody gets in. So thinking you might not be a numbers person. So that's one of the challenges I see coaches and consultants facing when it comes to the numbers in their business. The second is not making it a priority. So if you consider yourself not a numbers person and you feel overwhelmed, or you feel like you don't know what you're looking at, you're not going to make it a priority. Or if you have a system that you're using and it overwhelms you or confuses you, then again, you're not going to want to do it. So you won't make it a priority. So that can lead to the numbers piling up, right? So a lot of times what I hear is someone will only look at their numbers at the very end of the year when they have to prepare for taxes. And what can happen there is you have to pull an all-nighter, or you're super stressed that you have to get that all together at one time. You could make mistakes, you could miss something. And even if you don't, it's still very stressful to wait till the last minute to do that, right? And then sometimes you have to file an extension, and it's all that sort of thing. So if you're making it a priority and you're looking at your finances regularly, you can keep on top of it so that by the time tax time comes, you're already prepared. So I don't know how many of you have ever experienced that. If you have anything to add or any experiences, I'd love to hear about that in the chat too. Okay, so if you're looking at also your numbers on a regular basis, and you're tracking them on a regular basis, and you know what's coming in and it's going out, then you're going to also have the information in real time to use to make decisions about what you want to invest in, and if how much to pay yourself, and do you have enough for your bills, and maybe you want to hire a VA and you're not really sure if you can pay them regularly. So these are all the things that we need to know, the money, like what the money situation is, so that we can decide if now is the right time for those things. And the beauty of, most of you on here are probably in the coaching or consulting space. And the great thing about those businesses is we tend not to have a lot of overhead. So we can keep much of what we're earning, which is really great as well. Okay, so that's number one and number two. So number one, just to reiterate for a second, is thinking that you need to be a numbers person. I promise you, you do not. And not making it a priority. And then the third thing is not having an effective system for tracking your finances. So if you sit down to look at your finances and you have a system you're comfortable with, you can go in and get the information you need. But if you don't, like I was saying before, either it's going to feel so overwhelming you're not going to do it, or you're not going to be sure just what to do and how to get your information out of it. So I just want to share a quick story about one of my clients, Lisa. She was using a fancy software program to do her numbers. She had 2 wellness businesses, both doing very well. She's making money in both. And she was so overwhelmed by the system she was using, she wasn't sure how to get the numbers she needed out of it, and how to put in things exactly the way she needed to. And it was so overwhelming to her, she just stopped looking. That's exactly what she said to me. She said, I just stopped looking at it. And then she joined my group and eventually my course, and she switched over from that. And now she says at any given time, she can go, look at her numbers and she can see exactly what they are. So the difference for her was striking between having a system that was confusing to her and having a system that she can use. And so, if you have a system that you can use, it doesn't have to be my system, of course, but that's the most important thing. So finding a system that works for you, that you can use. Hang on, we've got more people jumping in. Okay, so we've got, having a system that you can use and that you feel comfortable with is the most important thing. Okay, so now that we've discussed 3 things that I see challenging many coaches and consultants when it comes to managing their business finances, I want to talk about 3 shifts that we can make. Okay, so the first one, if you feel like you're not a numbers person, getting the support that you need is key. So that is, one of my biggest recommendations is if you're not sure about something, learn it. There's so much information out there. There's so many great resources. Tap into my community. If you aren't already a part of the Easy Business Bookkeeping community on Facebook, I would love to have you join me there too. I'm live every week talking about various topics around, business finances. But like I said before, no one is born being a numbers person. You're not going to learn accounting by osmosis. So learn what you need to know. And you will be surprised at the very minimum accounting that you actually need to know to track your business finances. It's not really, you don't need to learn debits and credits. You don't need to learn all of that. You just need to learn to know what to look at, what numbers are important, how to understand them, and then be consistent with tracking it. So the next shift is to make time for your money management. So to make it a priority. And I recommend doing this, either weekly or monthly, or at the very least quarterly to start out. So depending on, the volume in your business, how much you have going on, you can do this at different intervals, but making it a consistent meeting in your calendar, like you would, meeting with a friend or a meeting with a client or a workout, put it in there regularly and then stick to it. And if you feel challenged sticking to it, you can find a buddy, someone that you like, a business bestie that you can say, okay, we're going to do our finances on this day of the week, and text each other or get on Zoom and do whatever you need to do to get comfortable. Put on some nice music. I use that song. I don't know how many of you came in early enough to hear the song I had playing, but I put that song on because it puts me in a good mood and makes me feel motivated. And I thought it was fitting for, if finances is new to you, try everything. So to try something new. So if you have a playlist that makes you feel confident and motivated, doing that while you sit down to do your numbers can be really helpful. And start small. Start just by looking at your numbers, do that for a few weeks, then actually start to dive in there. You'll be surprised what you find, because you can find like something, for example, if you're paying for something that you haven't realized you're paying for, like say you signed up for some sort of subscription charge and you don't use it anymore, and you wait till the end of the year to look at your numbers, you'll say, oh, wait, I've been paying for that all year and I didn't even remember. But if you're looking on real time, and if you're having these money dates on a regular basis, you can see that they're there, and you can take action on them before, you wind up paying for something you don't need for months and months and months. So, excuse me, make the time, make it a regular time, and promise yourself that you're going to stick to it. And then the third shift I want to invite you to do is to find an effective system for tracking your finances. So that will take the guesswork out of it. And that will allow you to understand exactly what you need to do each time you sit down, exactly where you need to go for the information when you need it throughout the month, or throughout the year. And you'll know if you have enough to pay yourself, to pay your bills, to invest back in your business, and what you're going to have at the end of the year. And it's also helpful. I want to mention, this talk today is not about taxes, but it would be silly of me not to mention taxes, because we have to file our taxes, right? The end of the year already happened. If you're a business owner, if you are a sole proprietor or LLC, you file your taxes with your personal tax return. So that's, I believe it's April 18th this year, because I think the Monday falls on the 18th, I think. But it's around April 15th, depending on the days of the week. And you file Schedule C with your tax return. And so, you'll have all of that information in place for your tax preparer, or if you prepare it yourself. If you're tracking all the way throughout the year, it'll be like nothing to get that together. And you won't have to spend all that time at the end of the year stressing about it. And so It's important. And also too, knowing how much you made in the past year will help you know if you have to pay estimated taxes for the year coming up, which is something that also, you need to be mindful of as a business owner. So if you're not paying estimated tax and you're making significant income in your business, you may have to do that as well. And so knowing what your numbers are throughout the year will help you kind of like have a heads up for those things and be ready for taxes. Does anyone have any questions? Candace says she would love to schedule a monthly short Zoom with anyone who needs accountability. So Candace is actually in my program. Good to see you here, Candace. No problem for being late. So we actually do monthly money dates. That's what she's asking about within the Easy Business Bookkeeping program. They're posted in the private Facebook group. Okay, so check it out there, but I can also email them to you. But we have those every month and they're included in the program. You can jump in and help you stay accountable. It's like, just a Zoom meeting like this, kind of a co-working session where everybody gets together and they can ask their questions. So good to see you here, Candace. Anyone have any questions about what we've been talking about? Is this something that resonates? Is it something that feels, like you can't get there, like it's just too much? Or is it something that's like, oh, I already do these things? That's great. I would love to know how you all are feeling now that we've talked a little bit about this. And Abby says, helpful, put a recurring date on your calendar. Yes, great. I love that idea. Having it in there makes it much more likely that it will get done, right? And not fall to the wayside, like sometimes we let it. So just take a minute to, if you're willing, close your eyes and just think about what it would be like if you had, if you knew at any given moment that you had sufficient money in your bank account for all your expenses. You knew exactly how to know what your numbers were on any given day. You knew exactly where the information was for taxes. And you didn't have to spend hours and hours and hours on it. So I'd love to know how that feels for everyone. For me, what comes to mind is that it feels expansive for me. When I think about that and I think about having handle on my finances, it makes me feel expansive. Someone is asking, I can't see your name, it says iPhone, but my accountant many years ago opened up my business as an S Corp. Okay. So the rules for S Corp versus LLC are different from a filing perspective. So you would probably want to check out the details for your situation with your accountant. But instead of filing as a Schedule C with your personal tax return, there's a different form you need to file and a different schedule. So you would want to check with him or her just to make sure that you're filing the right thing at the right time. Jillian says relieving. Lauren says empowering. Oh, hi, Sally. Okay, thank you. It's good to know your name. Yeah, so thank you all for chiming in there. Okay, so if you're looking on the worksheet, there's a homework assignment that elaborates on this a little bit that I wanted to give to you to do. And I'm not going to have you do it here for sake of time, but basically just spend some time brainstorming these questions that I've listed. The first one is whether you have support to get the financial information you need. The second one is about a system you're using, if any, for tracking. And then also for setting aside regular time. And this can be really helpful if you're feeling stuck or you're feeling blocked about making this a regular part of your routine or of your business processes, to help just kind of uncover what might be holding you back, whether it's specifically like not having a system or whether it's something to do with, how you're feeling around it. But I found that this can be really helpful to kind of bring awareness to what might be preventing you from diving into those numbers. Okay, so now that we've talked a bit about the foundation for getting those finances in order, I would love to tell you a little bit about my program. Let me know if you're open to that. Jillian says, yes, please. Okay, great. All right. So as we talked about before, I feel that it's super empowering to really understand the finances of your business. And when you do, you can grow your business, your impact, understand your profitability. And I designed my course, Easy Business Bookkeeping, to give you the tools you need to make that a reality easily. So as we mentioned before, support is really key in learning what you need to know about managing your finances. And when you finally get the support you need, and you can learn, sometimes it's like you don't know what you don't know. So when you get the support you need and you learn what you need to know, you can feel confident when it comes to your finances. And you'll have guidance from an accountant. That's me. Candace can speak to that. If there's a question where I'm always available in the group, you can always email me, but you have me in there every step of the way to help you with the guidance that you need. And it's hard here on a webinar because I can't obviously give you specific advice because I don't know your situation, but inside the program, we can get more detail about, what it is that's going on. And when you have the tools to keep up with your money management and a plan, you gain the clarity to see how you can make your business more profitable, what's working, what might not be working, where you're spending your time that maybe you shouldn't be, or what programs are bringing you in the most revenue. So it's that in addition to expenses. You're going to be looking at your expenses, obviously, but you also want to look at your revenue and see what's going on there so you can know where to spend your time. So Easy Business Bookkeeping gives you an easy to implement tracking system where you can see both of these. And when you have the accountability you need, it's much easier to keep up with your financial tracking. And like I mentioned before, you have access to our monthly money dates, which is a very fun way to stay accountable. I'm going to just take a minute. I did put together just a little bit of a slide deck just to show you the details about the program. So I'm going to do that now so that you can everybody see this? Just give me a thumbs up if you can see it. Yes. Okay. Thanks, Candace. Let me go to I always love this technology. View. I think this is the right view. Ooh. Okay. All right, good. I think we're good now. So you're invited to Easy Business Bookkeeping. In this course, you'll learn how to easily take control of your business finances so you can save time, stress less, and keep more of the money that you earn, which I think many of us want to do. So this is Christy, one of the people inside our course, and what she had to say about it. And so inside the program, you get a proven system for tracking your revenue and expenses for your business, a done for you and customizable template. So that's what I've been talking about, where we have the actual template that you can use to track your finances, getting down to the nitty gritty of it. And right now I'm going to be running the live class of Easy Business Bookkeeping, which I only run twice a year. And so in the live cohort, there's 2 interactive video classes just like this, where we'll talk about, how to track your revenue and your expenses, make the most of your tax deductions, and all the nitty gritty of how to get tracking on, in your regular business. There's also a live Q&A session after you've had time to implement so that we can address any questions that have come up. A private members only group with ongoing support. I mentioned that as well. And the information you're missing that's keeping you from decreasing taxes, saving money, including a guide to deductions. So I made a guide that tells you exactly how to categorize your deductions and what to put in which deduction category, which can be very confusing, especially if you're a service-based business. Also things like training, that you can take as a deduction. There's no space for that on the Schedule C. So you have to know kind of where to put it. So I created a guide that you can use for that. So you'll know exactly where to categorize your deductions. Our monthly money dates on Zoom so that you have accountability and you can keep up with your tracking. and the confidence and knowledge that you need to know that you're managing your finances correctly. And I think that's priceless. So the value of easy business bookkeeping is more than $2,000. There's other programs out there that are, similar, that cost more. And also, if you're going to be investing in a bookkeeping system, like one of the brand names out there, which I'm not going to mention, but that will cost you way more than that, because you have to pay for someone to help you set it up. You have to pay for monthly fee, to keep using it and all of that. And they keep increasing their prices too. So, easy business bookkeeping costs $897, and that is a one-time fee. So once you purchase easy business bookkeeping, you can use the templates year after year, and you're inside the group once you join. So there's no yearly fee, there's no annual fee. It's a one-time fee, and you get access to me, you get access to any updates that come out of the tracking template, which I don't do often, but sometimes I do when there's something major that needs to be reflected in there, or there's a big change to something that needs to be reflected in there. But you can use the system year after year without paying an additional fee. So I've broken it down so you can pay in one installment, or you can pay in 3 installments, and I keep them pretty consistent. So I know in some programs you pay a lot more to pay in installments. I didn't do it that way. I set it up this way because I want it to be affordable. And my main goal for creating the course the way that I did is to make it easy to use, right? So once you get in, you dive right in. The video modules are short. The live classes are not very long. I try to keep them to under an hour, depending on how many questions we have, because I want it to be easy for you to use, because you're not going to feel empowered until you get in there and just do it. And so I want to make it as easy as possible, cost-wise as well, for you to jump in. So if you're interested, you can go to the link, sarahfins.com bookkeeping, and I'll put it in the chat in a little bit. But that's the link that will give you all the information. And this is Lisa. And Lisa is also one of my clients. I was talking about her before. She was using a different, very expensive software. It wasn't meeting her needs. It wasn't adding value. And so she switched over to Easy Business Bookkeeping and has been using it ever since. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little peek inside. Does anyone have any questions so far? Okay. I feel like I went through that pretty quickly, but I just want to make sure everyone has all the information that they need. So this is basically what the tracking templates look like. This page here is a revenue summary, and the revenue categories are tailorable, so you can change them to be whatever you're offering to your clients. So you can tailor them for yourself. And so you put your information in on a different page and it pulls it all together in the summary for you. And you can just print that and hand it to your tax preparer. For the expense category, the expenses are categorized by Schedule C, and then also can be broken down further. And so those are in there, but there's also room for some tailoring as well, because some people's financial professionals want to see certain things listed a certain way. I left room for you to do that if you want. But this is the page where you would print and give it to your tax preparer, and they can use it right for the Schedule C. So that's what that looks like. Pretty simple and straightforward. I've also created a profit and loss summary, so that way at any given time you can see which months your revenue are coming in and which months you might have more expenses. And this is really important because if you need to show throughout the year, like say, you're trying to buy a house. I know a coach who was buying a house, and because her income wasn't regular, because coaching, and even if you're a product-based business, it's cyclical, right? So it's hard to explain that you're not getting a salary and show how you're making your money. But if you have this for several years and you can say, these are the months that I offer my courses or whatever it happens to be, excuse me, you have a snapshot right there. And then also for yourself, so that for planning purposes, is there a month where I need to be putting another program in to make more money because my expenses are high. Or you can plan for things better if you can see it listed out just like this. And obviously these are just some numbers I plugged in just to show you how it works. But they would be your numbers that would pull from. So you enter your detail in one place and it pulls it into all these other pages for you to have right away. So you also get live classes and video tutorials. That's me. The members only group. And I'm also offering a bonus this time around. So I've created a course where it's going to be a live workshop where I'm going to be teaching you about budgeting and planning. So how do you plan for your revenue? I touched on that a little bit in just the last slide. How do you budget for your expenses? You know, if you have expenses that are one time at one time of the year, how to kind of look at that and factor that into your planning. And so this bonus is going to be included if you sign up by February 1st. And so that will be it is a $200 value. So if that's something that interests you, definitely sign up before February 1st so that you get access to that live class. And again, it's one payment of $897, 3 payments of $299. You can go to sarahfins.com/bookkeeping to sign up to get all the information. And I want to tell you about one additional thing. I'm also offering this time around some VIP support. So if you're somebody who really wants some more hand-holding and wants my one-on-one time to talk about your business very specifically in a private setting, the VIP option is for you. So the VIP option includes everything that's an Easy Business Bookkeeping Complete. So everything that we just talked about, including the bonus if you sign up before Feb 1. But it also includes 2 one-on-one 50-minute sessions with me over Zoom privately. I know finances can be sometimes a tricky topic for people for whatever reason. And if you want to have some one-on-one support privately, you know, this is another good option for you. And so what we'll do is during the first session, we'll go over your business finances in detail, come up with a personalized plan for incorporating this into your business and your life. And then after you've had time to go and implement, we'll meet again to discuss the plan, what worked, what didn't, what needs to be tweaked going forward. And my goal is to make you feel super empowered and even more confident that you've got this when you walk away from those meetings. So the pricing for Easy Business Bookkeeping VIP is $1297 or 3 payments of $439. And so again, that's everything included in Easy Business Bookkeeping Complete, the course and the live classes, plus 2 additional classes with me. Okay, and also, excuse me, I really believe in my product. So I offer a 7-day money back guarantee. If you purchase it, you take a look and you're like, I don't know, I'll return your money. You just need to contact me and explain to me the situation and why it's not for you. Okay, so I have some questions now. These are just some questions that I get often, but if anyone has any questions or comments, put them in the chat. I would love to answer them for you in real time. But one of the questions I often get is, what if I'm not a numbers person, right? Will I be able to understand the system? And so, like I mentioned earlier, I designed Easy Business Bookkeeping to be for people who have little to no accounting experience and who are not necessarily super tech savvy either. So you really just need to be able to use a basic spreadsheet, and I will walk you through the rest. I think Candace is smiling because she was very unsure about the spreadsheet when she started, and she jumped right in there and took it and ran with it. And now she's really doing awesome. It's been really great to watch how comfortable you are now with everything. So good for you. But I designed it to be very, very simple and easy to use. And I'm also there helping you every step of the way, right? So if you have questions, you can jump in the Facebook group. Lauren, thanks for being here. It's good to see you. If you have questions, let me know, okay? And Cannon says, Sarah's the reason I don't cringe anymore with the computer and money. Now, I really, honestly, you've done an amazing job with everything. So, Okay, so is the system time consuming? So again, I made it such that it's very easy to implement. So you might have, say, if you still have numbers to put in for 2022 and you want to use it for 2022 because you haven't done anything yet for that, it'll take you, you might have to sit down for an hour or so, get all your numbers in there, but it's not going to take you days. It will take you maybe hours. But if you're starting from 2023 or you're doing it in real time, it's really only going to take you minutes a week to maintain. Once you get in there, it is very quick and easy. And isn't this expensive? So I did talk about this before. I will mention it again. If you purchase an accounting system or other programs that I've seen similar to mine, you'll be paying an annual fee typically, and you'll be paying someone to help you set it up and all of that. I really want to make this accessible for everybody. And so that is why I offer it at the cost that I do, because I want you to be able to jump in and get started right away and not have to stress about, paying an ongoing rate. This is Nicole. She's another one of my clients inside the program. She says, easy business bookkeeping has been a lifesaver and a time saver. And my favorite part is, she said, Sarah has helped boost my confidence as it relates to knowing my numbers. So that is one major reason why I do the work that I do, is because I want to empower you to know how to do this and take it and run with it. I don't want you to have to be, asking me questions forever, although you can if you want, but I want you to be able to have the information you need and the knowledge that you need to move forward confidently with your finances. Okay, so as a reminder, the doors close February 7th. Then the bonus expires February 1st. So the bonus is eligible for both if you do the VIP or if you do the regular, but you do have to enroll before or on February 1st. Let me see, there's a question in the chat. Okay, Candace, yeah, sure. Candace is asking if she could share an experience. So yes, I'm going to ask you to unmute and see if you could do that. Oh.
I just want to tell everybody that computers are my absolute nemesis. And 2 years ago and all the other years at tax time, I had piles and piles of papers everywhere with secret coding systems or highlighted colors that related to certain brackets of the tax stuff. And once I took the class, I was a hand holder person. Sarah has given me a lot of her time, thank goodness. But it really broke the ice. I made an email, took a picture of the receipts, shot it over once a week. I got in, I entered the info, and I'm a crafter, and I realized my pricing wasn't right. I came to realize where all those pennies were going, and I wasn't making enough to pay myself, so I've adjusted it. And the biggest part of it all is just getting on the computer and developing a system. I'm now writing a business plan. I've made a production chart. And now I can apply for grants because I have all of that information.
Yeah.
So amazing.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, Candace. But it is really true, though, how empowering it is once you have the information you need, and then you can take it and use it for, your whatever you need, grants and such, which I think is so great. I love that you said that, because that's what I'm going to be speaking about at the MobCon conference coming up next week. I'm going to be talking on the same day as the grant people. So for those of you who are moms in business, I'm going to be speaking next week at a conference. It's a 3-day conference for moms in business. So if that's you and you're interested in hearing more about that, feel free to DM me. I can share the link to sign up for that as well. But I hope this was helpful to all of you. If anyone, has questions, I'm happy to answer them. If you think of something later, feel free to send me an email. Oh, let me put the link here okay, so it's sarahfins.com bookkeeping. The information is there for both the VIP and the easy business bookkeeping complete. So either one, if you're interested in. And thank you all for being here. The replay will go out with the worksheet. So if you haven't gotten the worksheet, and if you know anyone else who might be interested in the program, please send them my way. I would love to chat with them as well. All right, so if there are no more questions, thank you all for being here. Have a wonderful day. and I hope to see you inside the program. Bye.